Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to season 9. You're listening to WCEG Network. We are the Worldwide Community Empowerment Group where we speak life into the community. Log on to WCEG or watch us live on your smart TV on the Roku cable channel, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. I am Vincent Cheeks, your host of Conversations in Education for the next hour. Please feel free to subscribe to our free YouTube channel under WCEG Network. Like us on Facebook, Instagram, and connect with us on LinkedIn, TikTok, and Threads. You can also download our free WCEG mobile apps or simply tell Alexa to play WCEG Talk Radio. Listen to WCEG on any of our 12 podcast distribution platforms. Last but not least, the topics and opinions are those of the show host and guests and not the WCEG network. Thank you, thank you for your continued support. All right, we have a great show for you today. I'm going to make a couple of announcements and then we're going to dive right into the meat of the show with our wonderful guests. First announcements. I'd like to send out prayers and condolences to the family of the Appalachia High School shooting, which took place on September 4th. Hasn't even been 2 weeks yet. It's another tragedy where children and adults lost their lives because someone was going through something and didn't get the necessary help that they needed. I really hope that at some point we will do something about the proliferation of assault rifles on our streets and do something seriously about protecting our children and teachers and everyone who works in the school system that works so hard to educate our children. This has become an epidemic in this country, and there needs to be something done about it. So again, prayers and condolences to the families and everyone at Appalachia High School. Next, I want to congratulate all the participants that participated in the KLG Variety Showcase Talent Show back at the end of July. It was a wonderful event, and it was the biggest event that we've had thus far. I believe we had 6 youth acts and 3 adult acts, and it was a wonderful performance. We're already getting ready for 2025. So I will let you know, should be early March or April when we're going to start having auditions for the KLG Variety Showcase 2025. So shout out to everyone who participated in that and did everything possible to make that show happen. Next, we have the Women in Jazz South Florida will be hosting a 3-day Music Woman Festival from October 17th through October 19th. A press conference will be held today at 4 p.m. at the Russell Innovation Center for Entrepreneurs, which is located at 504 Fair Street in Atlanta, Georgia. Again, there will be a press conference for the Music Woman Festival, which will be held in Atlanta October 17th through the 19th. The location for the press conference is 504 Fair Street, Atlanta, Georgia. There's also a website you can go to for more information, which is musicwoman.art. Musicwoman.art for more information on the Music Woman Festival. Next, this coming weekend, there will be a free guided walking tour at the Southview Cemetery, and we will be telling the story of the 1906 Atlanta Race Massacre. Yours truly will be portraying David T. Howard, who was a slave, who became a businessman, who became a philanthropist. He also donated 7.5 acres of land for an all-Black elementary school to be built here in Atlanta. So come on out, bring the family. It's free, it's family friendly, okay? There is an Eventbrite page at eventbrite.com 1906 Days of Remembrance Southview Cemetery Tour. The cemetery is at 1990 Jonesboro Road in Atlanta, Georgia. And for more information, you can call 404-622-5392. 404-622-5393. There has been a little confusion. At one point, the Eventbrite page was saying that the event was sold out. It is not, in fact, sold out. So if you get that message on the Eventbrite, please feel free to come to the cemetery, 1990 Jonesboro Road, Atlanta, Georgia, at 4:30 p.m. It will be a very educational and fun experience for the entire family. So please join us this Saturday. Okay. And next, after that, coming up with Oakland Cemetery, we will have Capturing the Spirit of Oakland, which will be from October 17th through October 27th. You can get tickets at the website at oaklandcemetery.com/event/Capturing the Spirit of Oakland 24. This event sells out every year, so please make sure you get your tickets early. Again, the website is oaklandcemetery.com/events/Capturing the Spirit of Oakland 24. And last but not least, if you're around and you're available, September 21st, I believe the time is 7:30 p.m. Our very own, the owner of WCEG Network, Penny Rogers, will be getting inducted into the Black Radio Hall of Fame. Yes, that is absolutely wonderful. Everyone here at WCEG is ecstatic and super happy for Penny, and I couldn't be more proud of my producer. And as she always says to me, I'm glad I know you. Thank you. Thank you for all the work that you do with WCEG and for all the work that you do in the community. Thank you. And with that being said, we are ready to dive into our interview. Let me introduce this woman because when I was researching her last week, I didn't know that she did all of the amazing things that she does in the community herself. So please help me to welcome globally renowned singer, speaker, author, and teacher, Miss Myrna Clayton. Hi, Myrna. How are you?
Wonderful. Thank you. How are you?
I am great. Thank you for helping us kick off season 9 of Conversation in Education. Thank
Congratulations for 9 seasons. What? 9 seasons? That's amazing.
It is. It's amazing. I've met a lot of amazing people that do a lot of amazing things in the community. And I wouldn't have this opportunity if it wasn't for the great Penny Rogers. So,
all right, Miss Penny.
Miss Penny. Y'all thanks to the Most High.
I love it.
We're going to get into everything that you do. And a little bit later, you can tell us how you became America's songbird. But first, I want to start off by talking about your organization, which is called SHOWAbility. So please tell our listening audience, what exactly is SHOWAbility?
SHOWAbility is a nonprofit organization, a 501c3 nonprofit organization that is a human services organization using music and arts, performing arts, as our platform to give people access to the stage. We want, stages are so not accessible. And so for persons across the disability spectrum, whether that's born or acquired, visible or unseen, what they call apparent or not apparent, stages are not accessible. And how we know that is because we can't get to the green room from the stage. If a stage is accessible, it's because of the equipment. So you have the loading dock to get the equipment on, but the equipment doesn't go down to the green room or to the tech area. And so many stages don't have a ramp or a lift to go to those spaces. And so, but so that's what showability is about, creating opportunity for talented persons across the disability spectrum to be able to showcase their talent. Talent has no limit. Talent
Okay.
has no barrier. And so regardless of your challenge, regardless of your disability, regardless of your ability in terms of what you can and can't do, your talent is a gift, and your talent has no limit, has no barriers. And so we want to facilitate that. And that's what showability is about.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Now you mentioned something about disabilities that are visible and non-visible. What exactly is a non-visible disability?
Um, Invisible disabilities or non-apparent disabilities are situations that you can't see, like a person who's blind or is a wheelchair user or cerebral palsy. Those people have visible disabilities. Persons that have invisible disabilities are persons that, say, for instance, have dyslexia. That's a
Okay.
disability, but you can't see it.
Okay.
Or someone who has um, um, what do you what's the word for it? Uh, like breathing problems or breathing challenges that
Okay.
really impact your ability to function well.
Okay.
It's someone that needs that may sometimes need a respirator. That's an invisible disability. Um,
Okay.
so those disabilities that can't be readily seen by someone, even someone with someone that's high functioning on the autism spectrum. To look at them, they may not look like they have a disability. And so that's an invisible disability. And then those persons who have like post-traumatic stress disorder or some mental disability, you look at them, you don't know that they have a disability, but they have a disability. And so that's what I mean by those that are non-apparent. And so just as a sidebar, someone may be parking in a handicap or in what I call an ADA parking area, and they don't look like they have a disability. That doesn't mean they don't. And so if they have a decal, that means that they probably do, you know.
Right.
And so don't get an attitude because they don't look like they have a disability. They might, and they probably do. The likelihood that they do is very apparent.
Okay. And you just mentioned an acronym, ADA. What does ADA stand for?
ADA is the Americans with Disabilities Act. It is a law that was signed back in 1990 by President George Bush. Prior to 1990, there was no law that presented opportunities for persons across the disability spectrum. For example, in order to enter a building, you have ramps now. That didn't exist before 1990.
Okay.
So a person with a wheelchair or a person with mobility issues could not get into that building without help. Someone had to, go up the steps with the
Right.
wheelchair,
Right.
because there was no ramp. And also with bathrooms that have the more space in the restrooms for someone to use the bathroom. That didn't exist
Right.
prior to 1990. And the curb cuts on the sidewalks, those didn't exist before
Okay.
1990. And so the Americans with Disabilities Act says that a person or that persons with disabilities have the opportunity to access facilities, especially public facilities. And
Right.
so it's a law that requires that for every public building to have access and facilitate for mobility into those spaces. That's
Okay.
a very abbreviated version of the ADA, but the Americans with Disabilities Act. And it's been around now for 33 years.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent.
34, I'm sorry, 34 years. 34 years.
Right. Because I got you. 34 years. That's excellent. I want to go back to something you said about one of the unseen disabilities, and you
Mhm.
mentioned dyslexia. So that piqued my ears because I feel like as I've gotten older that I've somehow developed a little bit of dyslexia because sometimes I will read things and it won't make sense to me. And then I go back and read it and I realize that I either mixed up some of the words or I just totally got one of the words wrong. Would that be dyslexia?
I'm not an expert in that space. But from what I understand about dyslexia, it could be, but from what I understand, it's more of the letters not being turned right. You know,
Okay.
like to see the word S, say for instance, the word share, SHARE. Well, the letters may be switched around or something like
Right.
that. And
Right. Right.
so, um, can someone develop dyslexia? I don't know that. For me, it might be that you've got reading fatigue. You know, give your eyes a break.
Yeah.
Um, but here's the thing that's so necessary for persons to do, and a lot of people don't want to do that, but go get evaluated.
And
If
I've been
you're
thinking about
wondering
it.
about that and
Yeah.
it's a concern, then go get tested. But that, well, I don't want to be diagnosed. It's better to know,
Right.
as
Right.
opposed to not know. At least you have a justification or a reason for something, as
Right.
opposed to saying, "Oh, that's just that runs in my family or something." No, it doesn't. This is
Yeah.
that. And here's the other piece. Oh, something can be done about it. We can help you. We can support you. We can
Okay.
offer assistance. That's called accommodations. We can make special accommodations for you because now we know it. So you can go to a job or something and say, you know what, I need a little bit more extra time because I have this challenge. A lot of people don't want to use the word disability. I have this challenge and I've been diagnosed with, and
Yeah.
so I need special accommodations. And here's my doctor's notice that I need special accommodations. Can you give me a little bit more time? That's great for kids who need work and, for school. I need a little extra time on my, school, my test
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I have, this challenge,
Yeah.
so.
Okay. I'm gonna look into it because I know it was something that didn't happen with me when I was young. And it happened a couple of times last week when I was reading something, and I was like, I might need to get this checked out because I really don't know.
Well, go to an, what do they say, ophthalmologist first to make sure that you don't need glasses.
So I got my contacts.
Oh,
So I got
okay.
it.
Okay. Well, then that's the first thing. Go there first. Go to the ophthalmologist,
Yeah.
not the optometrist, with all due respect, because it may be something, there. But if not, then it's like, okay, let me just give my eyes a rest.
Okay. All right. I appreciate that. Just wanted to gloss over that real quick since you
Sure, no
mentioned
worries.
it. So your motto for showability is everyone deserves a stage. Why is that your motto?
I mean, it loops back to what I said before. The mission of Showability is to empower talented performing artists across the disability spectrum. And by across the disability spectrum, I gave you that listing: born, acquired, um, that to give more fodder to that. Persons who are blind have different requirements and accommodations than someone who's deaf, who has
Right.
a different requirement than someone who's wheelchair, who is different than someone who has sensory issues. All of them are uniquely different, and everybody, regardless of their special accommodation, deserve to showcase their talent. And we don't want there to be a limitation. Now, let me be real clear. Let me say this real early in our conversation. We are not about um, everybody that wants to get on stage. No, you have
Okay.
to be able to have a talent. You have to
Okay.
be good, or at least trying to become good.
Right. Right.
Now here's the thing: um, we will give opportunity for persons to come on stage because we want you to not be afraid. They speak about how one of the number one fears that people have is public speaking, to get on
Mhm.
stage. And so yes, we want to facilitate. If you have that desire, we want to give you a platform to be able to do that. But there's a time and a place for that. And so it's not at our shows that we're going to bring somebody up to do that. It's when we have like a talent show or something like that for people, auditions or something like that. We'll have those for you to be able to come and showcase what you can do, because there are certainly persons that are diamonds in the rough, and there's opportunity for artist development. And so we're very much so in the space of artist development. But yes, everybody deserves a stage. If you've got a talent, then you deserve it. You desire to want to be on stage, and you deserve to be able to make that happen. And we don't want there to be any barriers or limitations to your talent.
Okay. And so, what is the impact that showability has had in the community by giving people with disabilities a platform to showcase their talents?
I've got just a few examples of many that I like to share. One I just found out about yesterday. So my
Okay.
newest one of our singers came to us and auditioned to be a part of our inclusive chorus, which is an ensemble of talented singers with and without disabilities. And so
Okay.
that's why it's called inclusive.
Okay.
And so she's a soprano. She happens to have cerebral palsy. And so she uses a walking cane. She has a beautiful voice. Well,
Okay.
she came and she needed to a couple of things we needed to work on. For example, breathing because of her posture. She needed to work on her breathing. Beautiful voice, but if you don't have the stamina to sing, a full
Right.
song, what she does, a full song was for her was a slow song. It wasn't like an up tempo song, And so we as a chorus we sing all types of songs, and so um, she just informed me because she's been with us now for a little over, well, right at 2 years. And we presented opportunities for her to be featured as a soloist at an event. We presented opportunities for her to be a background actor for a film that
Okay.
came through. So we're putting her presenting opportunities, and she says, yes, I'd like to do that. And so the opportunity we present when they come forth, and you say yes, because you have the opportunity to say no. And then when you go, you're exposed to new things. And so we're giving you great exposure. Um, and so things like that have happened over the years. We've given her a solo to lead for the chorus. And
Okay.
so one of my things was with cerebral palsy, you can't be a soloist and sitting down. You if you can walk, then you can stand and sing.
Right.
And so you need to practice at home, walking around your house so you can get used to standing for 3 minutes, for a song, 4 minutes
Right.
for a song, and
Yeah.
give me energy and so this is part of that artist development, because the audience is looking at you, and so you're an entertainer wanting to entertain the audience. And so, short of a long story, she just contacted me and said that she can no longer be in the chorus because she's been invited to be a part of the workshop players acting group.
Okay.
And so with this exposure, her radar was not on acting. Her radar was she wanted to be a professional singer. Well, now she's into music theater. Now she's looking at other possibilities. And so for me, it's like, wow, one of the things I say, we um uh improve the career trajectory. We change the career trajectory for persons with disabilities. They want to do this, but I can do this and that and this and that. And so the trajectory of your
Right.
career possibilities are enhanced because of the exposure that we give you. We give you the opportunity to, again, that audacity to want to be on stage. You audacious to want to be on the stage. Every artist is audacious to want to be on. If you aren't
Right.
singing, you're
Yeah.
performing, you're a musician, you have the audacity to want someone to say, yeah. Well, all of a sudden, that energy on stage says, well, if I can do this, what else can I do? What
Right.
else is possible for me? And we want to facilitate that. And so that's where everybody deserves a stage. It is a trajectory. And then the other thing is we change career trajectories, and we also increase life possibilities as
Increase life
life
possibility.
life possibilities. Because if all of a sudden you see yourself on stage, then like I said, what else can you do? Oh, well, maybe because I can articulate and I can communicate, because as a singer you have to articulate. Oh, no mush mouth here, you can't be mumbling your words. Oh, I've got to be able to articulate, so that means I can maybe be a phone customer service person, or I can go and do all kinds of different career possibilities to then make money, and maybe get off SSI, all kinds of
Right. Right.
possibilities,
Right.
you know. And so that's what I'm saying, your life possibilities, wherever stage you come to us, because there are persons who are in their 60s who are that come to us and want to try new things that they've never tried before. They were afraid to try. And so when I say life possibilities, I'm real about it.
Yeah, and that's absolutely an excellent feeling. Like I can't imagine someone who just is going to be a singer, and then you help them discover all these other potentialities of
Yeah.
what you said,
Life possibilities.
life possibilities. Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing.
It's wonderful. And just two others. One young man got arrested, so he passed away. But he was a gentleman who's a quadriplegic. I joke with him and say he looked like a big fat Willie Nelson, big guy
Okay.
in a wheelchair, but he sounded like Aaron Neville, really jazzy
Wow.
singer. And
Okay.
so to see, to hear him after you see him, you're like, what? And I encouraged him to go and audition for The Voice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's big time.
yeah, exactly, because he had that kind of voice, and I was like, you need to do this, And while he didn't get picked, it wasn't because of his voice. I honestly think that it was they didn't know how to navigate, accommodate him, you know,
Right.
because that was actually back before the pandemic, and so
Okay.
things have shifted since the pandemic, but I say that they really didn't know how to navigate because he was a quadriplegic. I mean, for real, he can't move from this down, you
Right.
know, and so, but again, talent has no limitation. That man could sing his behind off, and scat and all kinds of stuff, and it was just like, and so I had to like, oh my gosh, you have such potential. Please, the possibilities for you are endless as a singer. Let's go
Right.
make it happen. And then third example, there's a young lady who's blind, and she has an amazing voice. She wants to be a voice actor. Well, she came to us wanting to be a voice actor, and again, part of that artist development, we are, coaching her on, oh, you need, different things. Okay, I want you to, audition for this. I want you to audition for that. When opportunities come, that doesn't mean that they come every week, every day, anything. But when they come, first of all, you say yes. Say
Okay.
yes when the
Okay.
opportunity comes. Don't say, well, I don't know if I'm ready. I maybe not, maybe next time. Next time may not come.
Right. Yeah.
And so say yes. And then, okay, we can prepare now for the yes, And then, so in her case, she knew she had a voice, and she was a little, intimidated, about getting on that stage, because as a blind person, you can't see how big the stage, you can only hear how big the stage is,
Right.
right? And so she went and she won, the top part, became part of the top 10 that were then invited to go to Miami to be a part of this big speak off competition. And
Okay.
so I coached her on how to prepare for them to accommodate her, because you have to prepare the people to receive you.
Right. Right.
They don't know. They don't know what to do for a blind person. You're the first blind person that they've had, so they don't know what to do. So you help them help you, because you know what you need. And so coaching her on that, and while she didn't win, she became again one of the top. This is out of 100. She won top 10 in Georgia, and then they took the top 10 from, and so there were 100 of them, and she placed again in the top 10 there. That's how
Okay.
great she is. And so I'm saying it's us developing, and it's again your talent you have. We're just tweaking, we're perfecting, we're giving, and the main thing, because I'm an artist, I understand, oh, we got to get rid of that negative self-talk in our head.
Yeah.
Every artist has negative self-talk. I tell
Correct.
people all the time, oh my gosh, I don't need you giving me no criticism. I've already criticized myself. Everything you can say, I've already said to myself. I don't need you to say it. I know, you know. And
Yeah.
so yeah, so those are examples of what showability does to change the career trajectory and to increase life possibilities for people with disabilities.
Okay. That sounds very exciting. And I can just imagine the world of possibilities, the doors that you're opening for so many people. Absolutely. So you just mentioned something very important when it comes to being in the entertainment world, and that is, how do you deal with negative thoughts and doubts? So how do you do that, Ms. Clayton?
Um, the way that I connect with the artist, whether that's a musician or a singer or a poet, um, um, an actor. Um, it starts with, you didn't give this to yourself,
Okay.
and acknowledging the spirit in it,
Okay.
and your responsibility to perfect that which is within you to share with others, because that's why it was given to you. And so I say, as a singer, that um, the gift was given to me by the Most High, and what I do with that gift shows the Most High how much I appreciate the gift.
Okay.
And so I don't, and I use the example, and I'll say this to them. You've had opportunities where you've given someone a gift. And if they just kind of take the gift kind of haphazardly and put it over to the side, you think again about giving them another gift.
Right.
You feel a kind of way.
Absolutely.
And so that's the thing with God. Okay, you taking your gift for granted. You just pushing it down like it's not important, like it's not special. Okay, watch. I mean, to me, that's what you have to do with your gift is perfect it, make fine tune it. This is rough. And so you've got to make it smooth. And so, yes, you take lessons. Yes, you invest in yourself. Yes, you take the constructive correcting, because one thing for sure, you can't hear yourself like the audience hears you.
Right.
And so if someone's saying something to you and they're saying it in a loving way, then you want to hear it. You want to hear it and then ask a few other people. I'm not saying take that person's word, but ask a few other people, hey, are you sensing this? Because I can sing. I don't have a clue what I sound like until I listen to myself on a recording.
Right.
And funny story, because the singer said this to me. He says, oh, you have to listen to yourself. I can't, other people, I can't stand to hear myself. I can't stand to watch myself. Well, guess what? That's what other people are looking at. You need to know what they see. You need to know what they hear. And so if you don't like how your sound, well, guess what? They probably don't like how you sound either. Because we hear ourselves through our head. We don't hear ourselves out here.
Right.
And how we sound out here is very different than how we sound in our head. And we as people need to know that, So I'll just.
Yeah, you're right. And we all have those, even me as a performer, we get those negative thoughts. And, I know for me, I have to really sit down and like meditate and like act as if I'm literally pushing the negative thoughts or plucking them out of my head. And
that's a wonderful visual. And here's the thing. Once you pluck it, you got to replace it with something.
With something positive. Absolutely.
Right. You've got to so I'm removing this and I'm putting it in with something. And as a wonderful poet, Nikki Giovanni told James Baldwin, lie to me. Lie to me. Look, lie to yourself. You know what? Go ahead. I'm great. I'm great. Well, that sounds better than I'm awful. I feel sick.
Right.
I feel great until you feel great. Because it's going to happen. You keep saying it to yourself. Our subconscious will agree. It will agree. But you got to start off with, I know I'm lying to myself, but that's okay. I'm good. I'm good. I feel great. I feel great. I feel great.
Yeah. And to your point about how we sound to ourselves, like for me, I've never really liked to hear myself back. Like I didn't like my voice. And it's funny because the production I'm doing with Southview Cemetery this weekend, the lady, Miss Ladoris, who got me into the acting scene, she told me she picked me because she liked the sound of my voice. And here I am, hating on my voice because, like you said, we're our own worst critics. And it was actually the thing that helped propel me to be in this acting space right now with Miss Ladoris. So we can sometimes be our own worst critics.
But it takes someone like Miss Ladoris to say something and you go, what? I can't stand that. Well, she said, well, I like it. Don't change it because I'll pick somebody else. That's your uniqueness.
Right.
And when we start valuing our uniqueness, and that's with the disability. Okay, self-identify. Tell somebody that you have. Let somebody know you have a disability, because that's just like me and you showing up, not saying, not telling somebody we Black. That's who I am.
That's right.
I can't not be otherwise. And so let me just be who I am, because we also, as people who are Black, know people who pass.
Yes.
I know my great grandmother's sister passed, and that the distortion of that, because you don't fit nowhere.
Mhm.
You know, so you can't get wet with your family because you're afraid. You can't get with them because you're afraid. And so the passing really mess with your psyche. And so there's a whole nother space in the disability community where people pass because they don't identify. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm
Right.
just saying I understand why because of society. But I am also saying, wow, if you could self-identify, then there are things that we can make available to you that because we don't know that you have a disability. And so therefore we don't know that we can present you with the opportunity,
Right.
you know.
Okay. So, how were you inspired to create Showability?
Okay, the abbreviated version is I happened to be in a church. I saw a young boy, he may have been 10 or 11 years old. And I
Okay.
guess he had cerebral palsy because he had arm canes and he struggled to get up 3 steps, just 3 steps into a church pulpit in order to sing.
Okay.
I didn't think anything of it at the time other than, oh, he can't, that's, where's somebody to help him, all that kind of stuff. But I kid you not, when he started singing, oh,
Yeah.
his voice at 10 or 11 was amazing. And
Okay.
I wasn't in, I didn't have the forethought. I don't know his name. I don't know nothing about him other than he's a little boy that had cerebral palsy. He has a great voice. Well, about 5 years later, he crossed my mind and God would have me just think about, I wonder where he is. He's a teenager now. I bet he's killing it. I love to hear him. And I kid you not, I asked people across the music industry in Atlanta, Metro Atlanta, do you know any singers that with disabilities? I didn't even say cerebral palsy, any disabilities who
Yeah.
sing, and not one person knew anybody with a disability
Hmm.
who sang. And that
Hmm.
just didn't make sense to me. That was before I knew the statistics. That just
Right.
didn't make common sense to me. Like, you don't know nobody, nobody. And that's when I learned how people are hidden in plain view,
Right.
and we will see somebody with a disability and not process that we've seen them because
Yeah.
from childhood we've been taught not to point and not to stare. And so I give us that out. We don't even see them. They don't even come to mind because of us, not because of them, but because of us. Our minds have been warped to not see them because of fear of making the wrong thing or fear of being fussed at because your parents said, don't point, don't stare, so you ain't trying to have that. So you just assume they're not even there. I don't even see y'all there because I ain't trying to get in trouble, even as an adult. I still hear those adults in my head as a full grown woman. I still hear
Yeah.
them, and so that's what's up with that's how I started the organization. And our biggest thing from day one was finding accessible stages.
Hmm.
Accessible stages are an anomaly. There's only one facility in the city of Atlanta that was open to the public, and that was the Auburn Avenue Research Library that had an accessible stage that was available for no charge. And then when you look at all of the stages, the Fox, the Alliance, they do not have an accessible stage. Most of the venues don't have an accessible stage. The city, what is it, center stage, not accessible. So many places are not accessible. We don't think about it because it doesn't affect us,
Right. 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 Right.
but no. So, and if you think about most churches, I'd say 99% of the churches, pulpits are not accessible. Choir lofts are not accessible. So what does that say? You're not welcome here.
Right. Right. That is sending a very bad message. But you mentioned the ADA, which has been out said since the 90s. Isn't that supposed to make sure these establishments have, you
Nope,
know, updated
nope,
disability equipment?
nope. It says you can enter the building and go to the bathroom. Once you get inside the building, then it's based on reasonable accommodations. It's based on other things. And churches, especially, tend to be grandfathered in, and all kinds of things. But even the newer churches, as long as you can enter into the church, or synagogue or mosque, as long as you can enter in, that you have to have a ramp to be able to get in or a lift, and you have to be able to have an accessible bathroom. And that's where the ADA stops.
Mm.
There's a need for what we're calling ADA 2.0
Okay.
because there are lots of things that need to be changed and lots of opportunities for things to be improved as it relates to the disability community. But yes, with churches and theaters and venues, no, they did not, and they do not, are have to have and are not required today. to have accessible stages.
But can't they sue? Can't you sue for that?
Nope.
No. Okay.
Nope. Again, because the law is for you can enter the building and go to the bathroom. Now, mind you, that's my crude abbreviated version, but at the core, that's really you be able to enter the building. And that's why buildings have, if you know about construction, the 36-inch wide door openings, because you have to be able to let the person with a wheelchair be able to enter the building. That's why most buildings have those little buttons that it will automatically open for them. That's the law. You have to be able to allow someone to enter your building.
Okay.
But navigating once and then yes, you have elevators and things like that, security and that kind of a thing. But to the details inside the building is not as stringent.
Okay. So that's pretty unfortunate. Yes. You mentioned the I-Chorus a few minutes ago, and that's one of the programs under SHOWAbility, correct?
As the inclusive chorus, yes.
Inclusive chorus. So what are some of the other programs that SHOWAbility has?
I'm happy to say that SHOWAbility over the years has tried its hand at a number of things. Our main thing is having what we call a star collective. We are always looking for talented artists and performers. We provide access to film opportunities that come our way. We also look to have events that where someone describes us as the carrot and not the stick. And so like our ADA event, where we're pulling together for awareness of the capabilities within the disability community. And so other programs that we have, we just launched this past year. It's now been right at 17, 18 months, what we call Spotlight, which is we're wanting to get into the school systems because students with disabilities are really redirected from getting into the arts programs. And I don't mean students that are in special needs classes. Many of them have music therapy, and they have programs in the special ed classes. I'm talking about those students that are in the general population, those that have cerebral palsy, those that are wheelchair users, those that are blind. They're not in the special ed classes. They're in the general population, but because of their uniquenesses, persons, teachers, counselors, well, you may want to try something else. Well, no, they will redirect them from going into the acting program. Many of the teachers don't know how to accommodate. And so we want to help and support students that are talented. Again, talent has no limitations, but do you have some challenges that you have to go through? Like the person who doesn't have any arms. Well, they can write with their feet. They can, there are different things that they can do because they've had to learn to do that. Well, that means that you can act, you can play an instrument. It's different. And there are certain instruments that you cannot play, but there are certain instruments that you can play. And so it's things like that. And there may be a different way that you have to play. You may have small, short arms. Okay, well, there's certain things that there's always a way if you have the desire. And school systems have really been closed, are a closed entity, and so most of the people that we work with are persons who have transitioned out, meaning they are 21 and older. Okay. And we very much so want to get those who are under 21 because we know how those that are 21 and older struggle just from an self-esteem standpoint, and so while you're in school, in my ideal is middle and high school, right? Because that's when most people are introduced to those programs anyway, middle and high school. And so to encourage that. And so we're really wanting to get with principals. We're really wanting to get with school counselors that know about the 504 program, that authorization for students. Oftentimes, people will think when we say students with disabilities that we're talking about those that are in the special ed classes. Right. We're not necessarily talking about those students. We're talking about those students that are high functioning, that can follow instructions, that know that when the showtime comes, you got to perform. Right. And so there's certain things that as an artist, as a performing artist, you got to show up and produce. Right. And so there's certain things that a child, are there things that can be done? Absolutely. And that's where music therapy comes. And so, yes, can we facilitate that too? Absolutely. But for those students that want to get on stage and perform, then we want to be able to facilitate that. And so we're very eager to get into the school system to have the students come out and have
Right.
the parents. And so that's another whole thing. And I'll be quiet after this. The parents, oh my gosh, we need booster parents. We need parents that are saying, my child has a talent, and not, you better let my child be, my child really has a talent. My
Right.
child really has a talent. I want you to hear him. I want you to hear her, because they play very well at home. They sing at church. Okay, we want to hear that. We want to
Right.
hear that, because there's no force in it at all. If the
Right.
child is talented, great. If they're not, we'll let you know. No, they're not yet ready.
Gotcha.
Because that's real. That's real.
Right. And I can also see how the parents being a major support for the child would also help them with their confidence in the things they have to do as far as being an artist.
Absolutely. Parents of artists are a special breed, just like parents of athletes are a special breed.
Right.
That's a special breed, because you got this child that's good, and oh wow, I got to facilitate that. Well, parents that have children with special needs, or children with disabilities, it's a little extra that you got to give, because that's, especially if you got more than one child, then
Right.
that's oh wow, okay, I got to do a little extra, because I got to do a little extra to get you in the car, a little do extra to get you out the car. All these things are involved and engaged, and so I understand. And so there's a certain kind of parent, because I know with my mom, but with me, she had to arrange for carpooling. She had to find some like-minded parents, because she couldn't be everywhere all the time. And so you had to just kind of, okay, let me figure this out, because she gonna go. She gonna do it, so.
All right. Listen, I'm enjoying this conversation with you here at WCEG Network, Conversations in Education. We have about 10 to 15 minutes left, so I want to get through the rest of this interview. But I thank you for the information you're providing and for the work that you do in the community. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
So SHOWAbility received a proclamation from Fulton County Board of Commissioners. What was that experience?
That was awesome, to be recognized by the government official in your county.
Yeah.
To be seen. We've been at this, since 2009, and to be recognized for the work that we do is very, very special. Commissioner Natalie Hall is the one who led that initiative, and so we're very grateful for her, and for her seeing us. Her seeing us and then recognizing us, because first you got to be seen and then recognizing. So it's very special, very, very meaningful. We actually went before the board of commissioners, and took a picture, and all of that stuff, and they read the proclamation. It was great. It was really great.
That's wonderful. I mean, when I saw that you received it, I said, well, she must really be putting in the footwork in the community if the city is recognizing her for her work. So
The
that's
county is recognizing us.
county, city, all that recognition is huge.
Yes, it is.
I can see you continuing to receive further recognition, because the work you're doing is very important.
Thank you.
And it's needed. It's absolutely needed. So again, I commend you. Next, I want to talk about ableism, because I need to know what ableism is and how can that be harmful.
Ableism within the disability community is like racism.
Okay.
It's minimizing, discriminating based on the person's disability.
Okay.
That's what it means, and that's where it's harmful, because you're denied access, you're denied opportunity, you're treated you're treated mean by nothing that you did.
Right.
You showed up, and someone's, and so because of someone else's issue, you're impacted.
Right.
It's their issue, it's not yours.
Right.
And you come in blindside like, what? Ableism is, people do things like they want to come and bless their hearts. They feel that they can pray your healing. People want to pray for you to be able to walk, or for you to be able
Right.
to get out of that wheelchair. Some stranger you don't even know.
Right.
You don't know you, and you come in, what? Yes, you want to greet them, but then you want to come and do some extra stuff. Well, I I don't know you, and that's like somebody trying to pray to black off my skin. I
Right.
can't do that. That's who I am. So so in spaces where people take the liberty to just um treat you in a kind of way based on who you are, based on your personhood. That's
Okay.
ableism. And so in and of an effect, it's very disruptive and negative for you.
So
Um,
it's basically another form of discrimination.
it's
I had
absolutely,
never heard of it before I started.
it's a new term. It's a new phrase. I personally wish it would not be ableism. I think able is a great word. And so me personally would rather be disableism as opposed to ableism.
Yeah, I was kind of confused by that too,
Yeah,
because I was
yeah.
like, being able to do something I thought was good, but
Yeah,
yeah, I
yes,
get
but it's like race. Race is good, but when you get the ism on it,
it.
it makes it, oh, there's a problem. You're responding to me negatively because of the race. So you're responding negative because of what I'm able or not able to do.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So, can you tell our listening audience what and when is Disability Pride Month, and how can people without disability become better allies to people with disability?
Okay, so that's two separate things. Disability Pride Month is July. It came about because of the ADA. The Americans with Disabilities Act was signed in July, and so that rather than calling it ADA month, they're calling it Disability Pride because, and again, this is all very new in the space of being proud of who you are. So it's not at all leaning in the LGBTQ community. I'm proud. I'm proud as a person in my skin.
Right.
So it's disability pride of who you are and your personhood. And so that's in July. And that's Disability Pride Month. And it's really been for the last 2 or 3 years, it's been called Disability Pride Month. And so we're on
Okay. Yeah, because that was new
it's
too.
new. Yeah.
Okay.
It's very new. We're happy that there's a momentum that's been going on where we're seeing more persons with disabilities
Right.
come out of the closet.
Right.
you know,
Right.
persons with disability being able to say, "This is who I am. Respect me or whatever, but you're gonna have to deal with me." And so forcing those of us in the general population to address that. So that's what that is. And just how can people be support? The best thing that someone can do is be kind to everybody, welcome everybody.
Yeah.
You, because a person is different doesn't mean that you stare at them, doesn't mean that you point at them or make fun at them. It means, hey, um, you're doing something that I like, or can I help you? Don't just go out of a sudden start helping somebody. They may not need your help. Just like you don't want people getting all in your space.
Right.
It's treat someone like you would want to be treated. And so if you see someone in need, disability or not, would you like me to help you? Do you need some assistance? If they say no, leave them alone. If they say, oh, thank you very much, that would be helpful, then wait for them to say or ask, how would you like me to assist you? Don't
Okay.
assume that you know what they want you to do. It's
Right.
just, it's kind of common sense, kind of common courtesy, but we don't think about that when it comes to persons with disabilities, because again, we've been taught we don't know what to do. And so with all respect, we're ignorant to the fact we don't have the knowledge on what to do. And so we get afraid, and we don't want somebody recognizing that we're afraid. That we don't know. The last thing I want someone is to be exposed that I don't know. I know what to do. No, you don't. No, you don't. And so ask.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it's not hard. Like you said, be nice, be kind. Everybody wants to be accepted, and everybody wants to be treated with a certain level of respect. And it's not hard. And for me, I don't know, I've come to a couple of you all events involving people with disabilities. And for me, I guess it started for me as a young child. I think I was in third grade, and someone came into our classroom who was in one of those big wheelchairs. And the students in the class were like, being afraid and moving away from her and all of this stuff. And I got up out my seat and went and shook her hand and introduced myself. Like, what are y'all doing? This is just another person. And so for me, I guess that's always been in me to just be accepting of people no matter what their situation is. But I know even as adults, some adults can be really mean when it comes to people with disabilities. And I just don't understand that. And so again, for me, what you're doing is absolutely amazing because you recognize you said started with this 10-year-old little boy in church and you recognize the need for something, which is usually how innovation works, and but then the next step in innovation, once you recognize the needs, is taking that step forward to do something about it. And so you've definitely done that and you're doing a great work.
Thank you.
Kudos to you. I'm glad I know you.
Thank you. I'm happy to know you and thank you for this wonderful platform. I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. So does SHOWAbility have any upcoming events?
Yeah, we actually timing wise, we've been invited to participate in the upcoming Praise Factor Awards, and we're going to be singing there. We just last Sunday sang at the Atlanta Street Market in the West End, Atlanta, where we performed as a part of Music in the Park, and that was our inclusive chorus was doing that. We're going to be partnering with Georgia State University in October, which is National Disability Employment Awareness Month. The acronym is NDEAM, National Disability Employment Awareness Month. And we're partnering with Georgia State University to do what we're calling an accessibility below the line expo with the film industry. And that's something that doesn't exist in the country. And so we're wanting to bring awareness to accessibility and accommodations needed within the film industry because they're the ones who are doing a great job of, bringing awareness, and pulling in talent, actors as well as crew. But again, the general population, the people working on the set, aren't necessarily aware of all the accommodations and the respect that a person deserves and needs. And so for those people who are looking for jobs and those people who are looking to hire persons with disabilities, we're having this expo to educate and to inform about the human rights of persons within the disability community. And so it's called Accessibility Below the Line, and that's going to be October 20th at Georgia State University. More information is coming out about that, but we're doing that. And then we're looking at in November doing something with disabled vets around Veterans Day, and so in the Columbus, Georgia area. So we're getting outside of Metro Atlanta, and so again, our thing is for sure giving a platform for talented people, a welcoming platform for talented people across the disability spectrum to showcase their talent. Again, you got to have good talent now. This ain't no cool like because no one
participation trophies going out.
No participate. No one wants to be patronized. If you're good, then yeah, you were great. You were good, and you weren't good. If you weren't good, and yes, I recognize. Participation is wonderful. That's what the Special Olympics is all about. Is participation because you're given an opportunity. But that person who's really, really got a great talent, then that sets you apart, just like it sets you apart in the general population. Oh no, he's a real good cabinet maker. God, you need somebody to make a cabinet, go get her, go get him. When you're good, you're good. So he's got a great speaking voice. Oh, you need to get him for your program. Yeah. You don't want some half behind person coming and that can't even, speak. No, you want someone that's their gift. And so what's your uniqueness is your uniqueness. And so let's make it work. It differentiates in my corporate world, my corporate experience, it differentiates you from your competition.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So do you have a website or somewhere can go to get all of these events?
Oh gosh, yes. We are at showability.org. SHOWAbility, two words become one, SHOWAbility.org. showability.org. And then on we're on every social media, SHOWAbility or showability.info. Just put in Showability and you'll see this red logo with, it looks like they're, kind of like posing.
Okay.
That's that's Showability. And so like us, become our friend, send us messages, but also just to reach me. My email is mclayton@showability.org. mclayton@showability.org. And very much so available there for folks, because we're always looking for talent. We're always looking for folks who want to showcase talent. And let's be real clear. You come in and you have a talent, you're doing very well. Oh, we want you, if the opportunity wants to pay, it's a paid opportunity, we want you to get paid. Oh, we want you to get paid. At the same time, as with all artists, you got to start, you got to do this for free for some stuff. You can't get paid for everything. Yeah, this is a volunteer opportunity. This is an exposure opportunity. This is a visibility opportunity. But once you get to a certain level, like the young girl who's now moving over into musical theater, oh, okay, she's elevated to the next level. Right. And yes, when there's something that's going on, you can best believe I'm gonna call her to come on back over and do something for us. That's where it's supposed to be. My church does that for me all the time. I'm traveling all over the world, but Myrna, we want you to come and sing. Okay. Not a problem.
That's excellent. That's wonderful. So you said the website is showability.org.
Showability, SHOWAB as in boy, ILIT as in Tom, Y. Showability.org.
Showability.org. One word, showability. And your email is mclayton, CLAYTON @showability.org.
Yep, that's me.
All right, wonderful. All right, well, thank you for telling us about Showability. Now, before I go, give me another 5 or 10 minutes or so. I want to learn a little bit about Miss Myrna Clayton, aka America's Songbird. Okay, so tell our listening audience, please, how you got the name America's Songbird, and what does it mean to you to be worldwide cultural ambassador?
Thank you. It's because of that cultural ambassador, that performing abroad is where the America's Songbird comes from. Okay. When I'm in another country, it's very clear I'm from America. I'm American. Right. I sing American. In America, being America's Songbird is like, what? But the focus is I'm abroad. And how do I differentiate myself from those other singers that are abroad? Oh, it's America's, and so the songbird, because all my life, you sound just like a little songbird, you little songbird, songbird, songbird. And so they come together, defining me from an international perspective. I've been commissioned by the U.S. State Department to represent American music at U.S. embassies around the world.
Oh, wow.
And so I've performed at U.S. embassies in the Baltics, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, Belarus, and Moldova, where all that conflict stuff is happening right now. We were there in 2018. And then from there, we performed, my band and I, because I have my own band. And so my band and I performed in Namibia, Southwest Africa. And then the year after that, right before the pandemic started, we were in Guatemala. We were invited to the U.S. Embassy in Guatemala. And prior to being connected with the U.S. State Department, God had placed in my heart a worldwide ministry in music, and ministry is nations, not church. And so I knew that I was supposed to be singing. I'm a jazz singer. That's what I am. That's what I do. I'm a jazz singer. But music is a gift, and people understand, they can feel and they can sense your light. And your light, your gift comes from above. You ain't do nothing to get your gift. And so I began traveling. My first tour abroad was to Nigeria. My next was to France, and then my next was to Germany twice, and I performed in Germany a number of times. Well, I then was presented the opportunity to perform in Russia during President Obama's time in office, and so I performed in Russia 4 times over 5 years. And so in Russia performing, and here's the funny thing: I don't speak another language. I only speak English. Unfortunately, I wish I did. But I can sing in any language because I sing phonetically. I sing the sound, because in other languages, I can make a wrong sound and it'd be a different word. and so, and so I'm very thoughtful of how I pronounce my words, just like I'm thoughtful of how I pronounce my words in English, because we can talk to folk and we don't have a clue what they're saying because they don't even move their mouth and we just don't. You know what I mean? And so I'm very much so phonetically singing the songs, because it's wonderful when you're in another country and someone is singing your language and you can understand them. They don't have to understand English, but I'm singing French, I'm singing Spanish, I'm singing Russian, I'm singing German. That's your native language. That says to you, oh, she respects my culture. Thus, therefore, the cultural ambassador. Because it's important that, oh, this is very much so about seeing our similarities.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And embracing us as a human race.
Okay. Well, since you just mentioned that, why is it important for us as a people to value differences, celebrate similarities, and honor oneness?
It's important, as I indicated, because we're all one species.
Yeah.
We're human beings. We come in different shapes and sizes and socioeconomic, all the demographic classifications, but we are all, when you cut us, we all bleed red.
Absolutely.
And so no matter what your income is, no matter what your race is, no matter what your challenge is, we are all human beings. We all breathe the same air. Just like fish in the water, they operate underwater and they breathe in that. We are breathing air, oxygen. And so because of that, then we're all one. And so we have to honor that and recognize, oh, there's a lot that's really similar about us. And the dissension that's happening in the world today really needs persons to be able to say, we just alike, right? So just kind of break it down to like, don't even try it. Don't even because hatred is taught.
It is.
Evil is taught. Yeah. You put babies together, they don't know, they just happen to be together. Even toddlers, and toddlers, they don't know, they're taught to be that way. And so the similarities, we look at our similarities, the valuing of the differences is, oh, wait a minute, you can do that and I can't. It goes into everything. It's not just your culture. It's, wow. Like I said, you can build a cabinet. Well, I can't build it. You can bake a cake. Oh my God, I love cake. I can't bake it at all. You do great. Can you bake me? All of these differences exist. And can we value that? As opposed to hate on you because you're different than me, or you can bake a cake. I can't bake no cake, so I can't like you. That's insane. And so it's the same way in all things, yes, disability, yes, race, yes, culture. And so one of the things, the last thing I'll say on that is, we in America are the most unaware nation because we don't know anything about other cultures, but other cultures know so much about us. Absolutely. And we have the audacity to not have any interest in other cultures. It's like, well, I don't want to know. You stupid. You're stupid. You mean to tell me you think that this is the only place on the world?
Right.
You ought to be curious. Yeah, you ought to be curious about what is it like over there. Wow, they're having that challenge. Oh, let me pray for them because they're having that challenge. Oh, wow, I know somebody who had that challenge over here. All kinds of things. People that are coming to this country. I'll say this radically. Because I'm a radical girl. I'm gonna say this. That's the first time I've said it publicly out. The only non-immigrants in America are Native American and Black people. Everybody else is an immigrant. They came from another country, afraid, coming here because they wanted a better life. Everybody, the Irish, the Germans, the Scandinavians, everybody came. And so you gonna hate on somebody because they doing the same thing your great-great-grandfather, your great-great-grandmother did? How dare you? The only two non-immigrants in this country are Native Americans and Black Americans. Period. 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 Everybody else is an immigrant. So folks tripping out. What? You need to check your family heritage. What?
Don't get the teaching up in here, not Miss Clayton.
You know, I mean, it really bugs me when folks talk about immigrants, and it's like, I'm confused. Aren't you an immigrant?
Yeah.
You gonna tell me about your proud Irish heritage, your proud German heritage, your proud European heritage? So you're an immigrant?
Right.
No, no, I'm not an
In
immigrant.
simple terms, yeah.
You are an immigrant, please. You are an immigrant. You talk even the Mayflower, the Pilgrims, immigrants. Let's
Yeah.
be clear.
Let's be clear. Well, thank you for that, ma'am. I'm one more question, and I'm gonna let you get out of here. Why is it important for you to pay back debt of gratitude for your gift of song?
My gift has taken me all over the world. And by nothing I did to get this gift, I didn't do anything except try my best to show that I'm grateful for it. And so as I said, what I do with this gift shows the gift giver how much I appreciate the gift.
That's deep.
And I want to be able to use that as an example for other people.
Right.
To show the gift giver how much you appreciate the gift.
Right.
That's for me, that's showing gratitude, because again, I did nothing. I was born. That's what I did. I was born and was given an ability that that's unique to me.
Yeah.
There are a ton of amazing singers. There are a ton of amazing people who started nonprofit organizations. There are a ton of amazing people that travel all over the world, but they don't do it the way I do it.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that uniqueness is what makes me special. But everybody's special.
Everybody's special.
Everybody is special. But you got to know that yourself.
Yeah.
And not let somebody stop you from showcasing
Right.
who you are.
Absolutely. And to your point of everybody is special, I've adopted this little saying that I say now that says, I'm just a nobody trying to tell everybody that they can be somebody.
Somebody.
That's
Yes,
it.
yes, yes.
You know,
That's a gospel song. So
it
I know
is. I
I know
know.
it
I
well.
just tweaked it a little bit.
I know I got it. 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 For those that
uh,
know.
yeah. And to your point about us all being one race, one family, I read a statistic that said all human beings are 99.9% the same, with the only difference being skin color. So I know that we can all do better if we just try a little bit to be kind to one another, like you said earlier. So thank you, Miss Myrna Clayton. Thank you for opening up season 9 with conversations and education. Thank you for the wonderful work that you do with SHOWAbility. And thank you for being you, for recognizing your uniqueness and sharing it with the rest of the world. Thank you. Everybody deserves the stage, correct?
Everybody does. Thank you so very much for this opportunity. I appreciate it. And I ask blessings over your ministry as you move forward and elevate the world. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And if there's anything I can do to help SHOWAbility with any of your events, I mean, I'm in Florida now, but if I'm here in Georgia and you need help with anything, just let me know. Keep me in the loop. I did sign up to be a super fan of yours to receive the email. I am definitely a fan. I admire all the work that you do. So again, kudos to you. Thank you for sharing your information with us today. And thank you for joining us on Conversations in Education. Thank you. With that being said, we're going to sign off. Next month, our show will be at 4 p.m. on October 15th instead of 2 p.m. So make sure you make that adjustment. And as always, thank you for being one of our favorite listeners. And we will see you again next month. Until then, peace, love, and blessings.